Morning. So I've kind of like got up this morning, got out for a bit of a walk and that. Sun's shining. I've seen a mountain biker and two dudes in a little jeep. Not a jeep. Them little all-terrain vehicles that they use for hot movies. That's all. I've seen two deer. I've seen an hare. I've seen a grouse. I've heard a bee. I've watched some birds flying. And simple things, innit? Simple things. And that kind of like got me, always gets me thinking when I get up here, and it gets me thinking about like stuff that, people probably think about, but then they don't give any thought to, if that makes sense. So, I've had a week away. I've had time to regather my thoughts and regroup and reset and lay some foundations and build upon some foundations. And, ironically, this is going to be posted on social media. But social media is not good for us people. It's really not. Before I went away, I was kind of like back to living in my phone, like literally living in my phone, on it fucking all hours a day. Prioritising social media before life, prioritising social media before family, prioritising social media before, everything, really, if we're being honest. And what we see on social media is regurgitated crap, from your toxic positivity quotes to your negativity posts to your little fuming, and everybody's got an opinion, and like everybody had an opinion yesterday on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air and Pookie, Chris Rock and Will Smith, for them people who don't know, and it just blew up, and it's everybody's got an opinion about nothing. It's like, it is an opinion that means nothing to anybody. Do you think Will Smith gives a shit? Do you think Chris Rock gives a shit? No. Do you know what I mean? And everybody gets like carried away on this tidal wave of bullshit. And, I will literally be posting stuff on my page, on the Talk Ourselves Well page, that I think is going to try and trigger a thought process in people, because that's how I see things. That's how I see things, in that if I can make you think and stop and question something, whether it's to do with mental health, or it's to do with life, or it's to do with emotional well-being, or physical health, or whatever that might be, I see that as part of what I want to use social media for. Do you know what I mean? It's like social media equals social engineering. So one thing that I clocked, like, I haven't watched the news, I haven't watched telly all week. Watched a tiny bit of TV last night. I've got back into listening to music, and a great variation of music, and like opening my mind again to different sounds and stuff, and I feel better for it. So what we're talking about when I talk about social engineering, I'm talking about, we're living in a time, we've had this pandemic, we've had, we've currently got the war on Ukraine, we've currently got stuff around food banks, we've currently got stuff around poverty, around energy hikes. And where's the positivity? Do you know what I mean? It's, it's engineered to dumb you down. It's engineered to keep you engaged, engaged. And all that time, what human beings really, really want is connection. But we're losing the power of connection because we think, handheld device, that's how I get connection. It's not, people. You get connection by talking to people, by sharing life stories. You get connection by going out and experiencing things. Do you know what I mean? It's like I'm connected now to the earth because my feet are on the floor, you know, and I've got all these sounds and sights and sun shining. And even if it were raining, I'd still have that connection because I'm engaged with something that I want to be engaged with. And when I go to work, or when I go, you know, home, or when I see somebody, I'll be able to talk to people about that. Rather than, oh, did you see what such a body posted on Facebook? Nobody gives a shit. Nobody gives a shit. And that leads me on to something else. So, a mate of mine, Damo, right? We met on Facebook. We've met in real life. He's a genuine guy. He messaged me yesterday saying, after I put that post on, saying what's happening. And, you know, I thought he was on a bet me holiday, so I told him bet me holiday, like we do voice message. And he was like, no, don't want to know about that. What's happening with your mental health before that? So then we had like a conversation via voice message. And he hit the nail on the head. He said, Si, he said, nobody gives a shit. And nobody does give a shit because, so people go on about red flags. A red flag is when I say, you know, I've had enough, I'm going to be moving away from social media for a while. I've posted consistently for 2 years. So for me to just stop that signals something's not right. Do you know what I mean? That signals that, oh, maybe Si needs a break. You know, maybe there's something else going on. Nobody give a shit. That's not on any of you lot. You know, why should you give a shit? Because we live in a selfish world and we live in a time where, you know, everybody's kind of like caught up with their own stuff, and I completely 100% get that. But then, if we continue not to give a shit, and if we continue to like see these warning signs and ignore them, and all it is like send a text or have a quick call or something like that, you know, it takes 2 minutes. But then, you know, the reality is that people don't want to be burdened with other people's stuff. Morning. People don't want to be burdened with other people's stuff because they either say, you know, and this is something for blokes, I didn't know what to say. How do I know how to deal with that? Well, fucking listen. It's that simple, man. It's that simple. You know, give somebody 5 minutes. People think, oh, they're having a, you know, a mental breakdown or whatever. It's going to take so much time out of my day. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes. That could save somebody's life. You know, like I'm fortunate that I can talk about stuff. I am fortunate that I have the ability to talk about it, but I don't talk about it at the time. I do with people who are close to me. So people say, you know, how are you feeling? So I went to a friend's house and they asked me how I was feeling, and I just said, I'm fruit floor. Do you know what I mean? And they were like, all right. So and then we had a conversation, and it's like we didn't have this massively deep conversation based around mental health. We had a conversation about feeling down and what we can do to kind of like raise a game a little, so that kind of brings us back up. You know, it's we get caught up in words, we get caught up in like these, you know, mental health conundrums, where, oh, it's depression, it's anxiety, you know. A lot of it is, but a lot of it is connected with phones. A lot of it is connected with social media. A lot of it's connected with the social engineering that's going on in life. You know, the negativity. You know, how certain man's still got a job after flaw after flaw after flaw after lies after, you know, bullshit. And blatant bullshit, and it's obviously it's one rule for some people and one for another. Nobody gives a shit. People are still supporting people like that, you know. But then when you go and you tell the truth and you speak the truth, and you know, it's like we have like little conversations like we're having right now. People don't want to know. People would rather go on Instagram, right? And I've noticed this. So like, these videos, they're not bullshit. It's from here, and it's from here. It's real life. And I might do a video and be honest about things, and it might get 30 likes. Who cares? I'm not bothered about shit like that. But then you will see, so like you will see a girl posing, generally like knelt down with her ass out and a little crop top on or something, and it gets 500,000 likes. And underneath it will say, my anxiety was really bad, I was really worried about posting this today. Fuck off. You're doing that for clout, right? You're doing that for the likes, because your own self-worth is engaged with like. And all that is dopamine. Do you know what I mean? It's a little happiness chemical. It goes, oh, somebody, they've designed it that way. It goes ping, ping, ping. And it's like, oh, all these people like that. No, they don't. They like the fact that you're sticking your ass out and you've got a crop top on. Let's be fucking truthful. You know, what else? Inbox is always open. That's a belter, innit? Inbox is all, phone's on, inbox is always open. No fucker's got your phone number, right? And your inbox, you can look at it and think, yeah, not interested, fam. It's that simple. It's fucking positive toxic positivity. So I'm even getting tongue twisted now. People aren't saying it as it is. People need to have these conversations. People need to have this conversation about social engineering, about, you know. So, I think it was 1928, don't quote me on that one, but there's a guy called Aldous Huxley, and he wrote a book called Brave New World, and he spoke about a drug, right, in the book that was called Soma. Now, I read Aldous Huxley 20 years ago, and I think we kind of read it at school, but I didn't go to school that much. But Brave New World, right, was basically a carbon copy of what's happening right now, where people were reliant on Soma to get through life. People are reliant on social media. People are reliant on, you know, instant connectivity rather than real connectivity. Do you know what I mean? This is real connectivity, yeah? Because I would have these conversations with my friends. I kind of like, I've spoke about this. People sometimes don't want to know. Sometimes people whose eyes are a bit like more open and they've had a bit of a life, they've got a bit of like street knowledge rather than walking around with their head in sand. They will engage with that conversation because they understand what's happening, you know. But then, we used to be a slave to the wage. Everybody's now a slave to the phone. And, you know, I will stand firm in what I believe in, and that I'm only going to post stuff if I believe in it. So all them quotes that you used to see, you know, Denzel Washington, for example, giving it the studious pose, we a quote. Now, if you've watched Denzel Washington on YouTube, yeah, the guy is a switched on guy. He's got a lot of good stuff to say, you know. He's also an actor. So who knows if he's getting paid to say that? You don't know. But, you know, it boils down to that we are living in a socially engineered time. You know, the constant from like the upper echelons is suppression. Don't get above your station. Stay where you are. Stay where you are because we can control you. You know, they don't do this shit in France. They're out on the streets in France kicking off. Do you know what I mean? So what are our higher echelons doing? Oh, I'll tell you what. So they're going to bring something called a Bill of Rights, which does away with the Human Rights Act. But a Bill of Rights, there's a part of it that is around freedom of speech, yet they're taking away your right to protest. Where's the freedom of speech there? Do you know what I mean? Who wrote the book on Bill of Rights? Yeah, Dominic Raab. So do your homework, people. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of, I don't come on these videos and it's not just all opinions out my head. It's stuff that I've researched. It's stuff that's factual based. You know, it's my interpretation on life. And some of you might agree, some of you might go, oh, shut up, mate. Right? But I will guarantee you, I'm not going to bullshit you. So, like, before I went away, where I were, you know, what I put on, I were in a dangerous place. And when I'm in a dangerous place, yeah, I'm going to be straight with you. That means that I think about death. It doesn't mean that I'm going to go and do it, but it crosses my mind because I think, it's such a lot less stress for the people around me. Do you know what I mean? That's not a good place to be. And I know that I have got some solid people in my life. You know, my partner of like near 11 years. I don't even know how she puts up with my shit sometimes. You know, she's an absolute blessing. Do you know what I mean? She's an absolute blessing, and she has the ability to bring me back down to earth and go, put your feet on the fucking floor. Look at it for what it really is. So she'd been saying for quite a while, before I kind of like sunk into the darkness, you know, you need to get off your phone. You're always on your phone. You need to get off your phone. It's like you do in relationships when you've been together for a while. It's like, oh yeah, fuck off. Do you know what I mean? But she was right, because she could see what were happening, and then she might not be able to articulate that, but and when I'm in that mode, my head might not perceive it like that, and I might not think, oh, she's right, because I'm in selfish mode. I mean, like, I'm fixed on this, you know. But I know that I've got a lot of people who love me, but when I'm feeling that way, I don't love myself. So if I don't love myself, I can't see that anybody else loves me. Does that make sense? So anyway, I think I've banged on, witted on for long enough. So that guy now who I spoke to is like, whoa, way over there. So yeah, I'm going to call it there. But like I said, I'm only going to post stuff that's relevant. And you know, I'm not gonna like cover it up, and I'm not kind of like on this mad mission to save the world. I'm on the mission to kind of like speak my own truth and stay true to myself. There's a lot of like terms, oh, you know, they met with authenticity. That's just become another buzzword now. It means fuck all. It's like resilience. It means fuck all. Do you know what I mean? When you look into resilience, oh, you're a resilient person. Am I? What? Because I've come through a lot of shit and I can talk about it and I can still walk around with a fucking smile plastered on my face. That ain't resilience. That's not resilience at all. You know? Resilience is a word that's kind of like born of all these different traumas that we experience throughout life. And that's the word that they came up with. You're a resilient person. Get in the fucking bin, son. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just going to keep it real. That's all I can do. Blessed with sun today. Blessed with an open moorland. And an open mind as well. Alright, take it easy, people. Peace out.